Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shock Talk. We've got an interesting concept we want to pass by you guys today. We're going to try to explain it, and then we're going to try to have a ton of fun with it. But I let Shane take away with it because I think he's kind of got something fun laid out for us. Why don't you take it away, Shane?
Okay. Well, the producers of the show have challenged us to do a $15,000 overland build. And what will we choose? And on top of that, the concept is that we would take this overland build and we'd drive it from San Diego to Flagstaff, mostly off-road. And our end goal would be to get to the Overland Expo, right? Flagstaff. When is that? In May? May, I believe.
So wait a minute. We have $15,000. We have to build a junker overlander and try to get to.
We are going to the most legit overland show there is.
So it's got to be legit.
And so, but we only have $15,000 to do it. Now,
cash for clunkers.
Now, many of these overland vehicles have $15,000 in their lights.
Exactly. Or $15,000 in the tilt-out table that they cook their breakfast on.
But we have to buy a vehicle.
$15K in moles.
And the $15K isn't for the vehicle.
Right.
$15K is
total
for the
budget.
Vehicle, total budget,
right.
All in, plus all of the equipment we're going to need.
This sounds very, very interesting.
Sounds like a bunch of Smitty-built stuff's going to be on this thing.
On a multi-day adventure through the California-Arizona desert to Flagstaff.
Sounds like fun. So do we get to each choose a vehicle? Is that the plan? And then, yes. So wait a second. I think what if we each chose a vehicle, right? And then we let the people that watch choose which one they like best, and then we concentrate a build on that. Maybe if management lets us do that, perhaps we could do it in real life.
And then
I guess it would depend on
and then raffle the roach off when we get to Flagstaff.
Yeah. All right, we're building this concept as we go, folks. Now follow along. So
possibly, if we get enough reaction, maybe this could come true.
Yeah. So let's lay out the rules here. We have $15,000 total budget.
Yes. Right?
There's a couple of more rules. So.
And that means like your cooler or your ice chest,
sleeping bags. If you want to plug in like refrigerator,
right? Do that one.
Right.
Like plug in refrigerator. Everything, it has to be all in. And if it goes past this episode, then we would have to document.
And there's been some suggestions that depending on the vehicle that we choose, that the accessories must be period correct. Do we all agree on that?
100%.
100%.
So none of them are going to have moles.
No, none of them are going to.
Wait, how long have they been doing moles?
Yeah, moles only been out a couple years.
Yeah.
I mean, military vehicles.
You can't even do what do they call them now? The interior attics?
Yeah, that has mole in it. Yeah.
We got to be able to have moles.
No.
What about rotopacks?
Those weren't, well, it depends on the vehicle.
That was like 08.
Yeah.
2010. Yeah. No.
Well,
we don't need carbon-proof vehicles, dude. This is a budget.
So have we all chosen a vehicle? I think we should let Shane go first. I think he chose his well ahead of time.
Okay, I chose mine. I found one on Craigslist for $7,700, and that would be a 2011 Nissan Xterra.
Okay, so you're $7,700 in.
Yep.
And do we just want to go over? Let's each go over the vehicle and then go through the mods, perhaps, and see how that adds up as we go.
Okay, well, it would be pretty simple for this one. It's one of the reasons why I chose it. They're definitely readily available. There's lots of them. They're actually really super duper capable, and they're like pretty heavy duty. You could bomb them pretty hard. The Xterra's got a coilover front suspension.
In that year,
and the downside of the is that the shock is really short, but it's still a coilover.
Heard that year had some transmission issues as well, didn't it?
I have no idea.
No idea.
No, not in 11. That was 05 is the 05 to like 08 had that little soft line that ran through the tranny that exploded.
The Nissans have always been pretty damn good. You know? I mean, it's not a Toyota.
Nissan's was
not always good.
Nissan was Shane's flagship vehicle.
They're pretty good.
The vintage Nissan was good.
The hard
Come on, Shane. When I met you, you had the Nissan hardbody, man. That was your go-to.
With the K24DE or even the Napsy motor was bulletproof. The stuff today is not.
Well, my first 4x4 was a Nissan hardbody.
Right.
and it had a Jim Connor.
Oh yeah,
kit on it.
off-road racing
Joel-
suspension.
wasn't
kit.
Jim
Joe
Connor.
Yeah,
Jim Connor.
yeah. He used to race stadium
He
trucks.
used to race.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Jim Connor.
Yeah.
The red,
It
white,
had
and
a-
blue Nissans.
Yeah, it had.
Yeah.
Well, there was a bunch of the Nissan hard body race trucks, but Jim Connor he raced a Class 7S 4x4, and he had a kit that was like a upper control arm with like a
Sway-away torsions.
no, it was an upper control arm with a ball joint spacer,
Yeah.
and then it was welded into so it was all reinforced, and you got 2.5 inches of lift, and I think it got around 10 inches of travel. With a short little shock. So I'm getting back to my roots.
Right. So on the
Getting back to the
Xterra,
roots.
what type of mods are you gonna have to do to make it to Flagstaff?
I'm gonna do a 6112 kit,
Okay.
and I'm gonna do 5160s for shocks. So it'll be about a 2-inch
What
lift.
are you gonna do for rear springs?
I don't know. Maybe just a shackle.
So
Water
how does
shackle?
How does that?
Well,
Stock springs with a 1.5-inch lift shackle.
Oh.
Not gonna redo the spring pack at all? You're
No,
not gonna do
no,
anything.
not going to
deeper
redo the spring pack. I'm going to maybe I'll redo the rear 5160 valving to like a linear piston or something like that.
Okay.
Right. But I think the 6112 will work pretty good. The new updated 6112s, we actually discontinued the Xterra 6112 right now, but we're going to carry down the new Frontier.
Oh,
And it actually has
on
2 inches
spec,
of lift.
yeah.
Instead of
Why
an
don't
1.5 inch, it's going to have a 2-inch lift on an Xterra.
Why not use our Titan upper control arm, find a Titan lower, find the Titan center section, and the Titan axles and hubs, convert it to a 6 on 5.5 rather than
gonna
a
get
6 on
outside of
4.5.
budget pretty fast.
No, you can buy this stuff at a junkyard. Are you kidding me?
I just want to keep it simple.
He wants to keep it simple.
I
He
want-
wants to spend the money on camping gear.
The route that we have in mind,
That's 13 inches of wheel travel, and you can run a first generation Tundra 6112 on it.
I could, but I don't know. I just want to keep it. I want to put 33s on it.
All right, our first
Right.
guy's scared, so let's move on to you.
Yeah. Well, so how do we affect budget with the mods you've made so far? So you started off with $7,700 on the vehicle. What do you figure on suspension, tires, wheels? We'll leave the camping gear out.
Well,
at this
is
point.
BILSTEIN going to sponsor? Or
There's
are we
no
buying?
free shocks. You got to buy them.
We have to buy. Are we going to buy an employee purchase price? Or are we
No,
gonna buy-
no. You got to pay. You got to pay retail, dude.
Okay, so retail. Yeah, I'm keeping it simple. I think the 6112,
Okay.
5160 would be a really good combo.
Let me know if you need a good deal on these shocks.
Yeah, exactly. I know a guy that can sell them to you.
Can you get me a good deal?
Yeah.
I think the
I got
I
your
think
back,
the
man.
only overlandy piece of equipment, and I don't know if it's period correct or not, but I do want a sunshade.
Ah, you want to take
I want
a?
a sunshade.
What do you mean a sunshade?
I want a 270 shadow on
He wants an awning.
or a Batwing.
Yeah.
No, that's not period correct.
I think we'll have to do research. I bet you they've been around
I
since,
bet they've been around. Not
since 2011.
yeah. Not
Sounds
in the
like some bungee cords and an easy up.
exactly
Is, what you're
bungee cords in a tarp.
Well, that's why I need an SUV because I need to carry my Easy Up
Exactly.
that I get at Big Five for $100.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or buy an used easy up on offer up.
Yeah.
We'll have to
That
do some
someone stole
research on
from
that.
Yeah.
Big Five.
But the basic vehicle, the Xterra, the 6112 5160 kit, and-
33s.
okay, so what's your tire brand? And so 33-inch tall tires. What brand are we going for? Are we running on the stock rims?
I'm gonna try to run.
He's
on
going to
stock
go with a
rims.
Lionheart.
Lionheart.
I'm
Saving
getting-
money on tires. You're going to be fixing a lot
I'm
of
going
flats.
to get Patagonia MT.
There you go. Okay, just like you had on hard body.
I'm getting Patagonia MTs,
Okay, there you
and
go.
I might put the spare on the roof rack.
Okay, just toss
Just-
it up on
just
the
to
roof
do
rack.
that.
Make more room on
Now,
the inside.
Let's be clear. Obviously, the damper of choice has to be a BILSTEIN, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Just. I mean, because
I don't think
I'm
that
not- I'm
management would ever finance the
not
build if it
sure-
wasn't a
I'm
BILSTEIN.
not sure my vehicle of choice we have an offering, so there'll be fabrication.
Well, you love that. You live for that kind of stuff. All right, so we got Shane's pretty much figured out. I'll go next. Mine's super easy. So I chose a 1994 Ford Ranger, the extended cab version, the 4x4 with 4-liter V6. Looks like they were selling for about $6,000 on Craigslist, so not too much invested in there. And as far as my build, I'm going to stay pretty simple like Shane did. I'm going to use probably a 1-inch lift coil spring for the front, either an Ibach or a Moog or something like that. Use our
Skyjacker.
Skyjacker.
Either a
Skyjacker
or
2-inch.
soft ride.
Yeah.
Skyjacker 2-inch.
And I think I'm going to do...
You need to do at least a 2-inch lift.
2-inch lift? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll do the Skyjacker 2-inch spring. I'm either going to do... I think I'm going to stick with 5100s up front and maybe do 5160s on the rear.
Why not 5160s all the way around?
Uh,
Going to Flagstaff, off-road.
But I was thinking I might do
Penny
dual
pincher.
5100s.
We're going on the Bradshaw Trail as part of this.
Might do like the dual 5100.
So are you getting a beamed Ranger or are you getting an A-arm Ranger?
No, the 94 was twin traction beam. Say that 10 times fast.
It's beamed.
Yeah.
Oh.
So 33s on that truck with that lift. Yeah, 33s. Probably do like a BF Goodrich mud terrain.
33s or 33 1050 15s?
Those. Because my mouth doesn't work right. I'm not going to say that 10 times fast. As far as me, since I have a truck bed, I'm going to try to do, and there's arguments whether this is period or correct or not, but I'm going to do a best top canvas top camper. So I'll have some cover from the elements and just your basic camping gear. I don't know. We'll have to add all that up as we go, but probably just a regular ice-filled cooler and
Ice-filled cooler?
yep, sleeping bag and all that good stuff.
I don't know if that's going to be accepted at the
You
Overland
don't think
Expo.
so? No. Well,
Not be accepted?
it's going to be a canyon cooler, so the most expensive
Oh.
ice-filled cooler you can buy. Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
then Spectra Ice.
Was
instead
it
of
available in 1994?
It probably was not. I might have to go back to the Coleman metal cooler for that.
Period correct. I don't know about this. Period
It's
correct.
tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah. I mean,
I-
why
How,
would you
how
not?
about we change the rule just a little bit?
So that I can use my
Can we just
canyon
have at
cooler.
least one modern?
I think
One
I think
modern
I think ARB
Overland.
I think ARB made fridges back then.
Yeah,
That's
they
true.
did.
They
They
did.
did.
No, I don't think they did.
Fridge. They called it a fridge freeze. It wasn't made by ARB.
Not in '94.
No, they
Yeah,
made fridge
someone
freeze.
did.
Fridge freeze in '94.
Someone did.
But I don't really want a fridge
Someone
freeze.
in Australia or Africa made those.
Yeah, I'm not really into something plugging into the truck and eating up.
Or
the
what
battery.
about the Igloo ones? Remember those old
Yeah.
school center console units?
Not gonna work.
Yes, something like that. So do you think, Shane, do you think in your mind that truck would make the trip?
Yes.
Okay, so
What
just a
motor?
very simple. It's the 4-liter.
Okay, what? Manual, automatic?
It's going to be an automatic.
Let me ask
The
you
one
this.
that we looked up was.
What are you doing with the rear springs?
And
And shocks?
yeah, 5160 is definitely in the back, and either depending on budget, how much money I have left, probably reach out to Deaver on that and see if we can either get a mini pack or just a full new leaf spring.
Full leaf spring with a shackle flip.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
That's what you did back then? And then
Yep.
the great thing about the front is you do a 2-inch lift and you have eccentrics now.
yep,
Modern eccentrics to align it.
yep.
You don't need that.
Not if they weren't available in 94.
They were.
They were.
I believe.
they?
Yeah, they were.
100%.
They had the mild steel
Yeah.
ones that you could
Yeah,
punch in there and do the.
They were.
Are you going to get a Rancho radius arm for the front?
You don't need it at 2 inch.
No, I don't think
I
I'm
know, but
gonna
it still
do the
might
extended.
travel a little nicer.
Yeah, I mean
Because
my
if you do the
geometry
longer-
off a little bit.
my
You think so?
concept
Are you
was
talking about the beam drop or the axle pivot bracket?
no the radius arm,
Just the radius arm.
the longer
no,
radius
you don't
arm.
Don't do it.
No.
Well, if
Yeah, you got to be at 3.5, 4 inches before.
Well, Rancho's kit back in the day was a 2.5 inch.
But they had a whole complete radius arm for their performance.
They did.
2.5
yeah,
inch.
They
yeah,
did.
Yeah, you could do a complete.
But then
radius
you
arm,
have
but that
to-
was just a mimic.
yeah. Then
Of
you
the-
have to
of a
relocate
stock style that
the
went with
bracket
it, yeah.
and all that stuff too. So
Yeah, it was just a longer stock style.
I think just to keep it simple, to avoid any breakage or anything like that, I'll just stick with everything more or less in the stock place. I believe I will probably have to throw a spare in the bed because the under the bed storage won't hold a 33. I don't think so.
I think it might.
They will.
It might.
It will.
Yeah,
Might be
there's
able
a
to
there's
fit that
a
under there.
there's a guide arm in the back so it doesn't hit that because that's that old style that you bar that comes down.
Yeah,
and
the whole
press it
carriage
up.
drops
Yeah,
down,
You
yeah.
can
It'll fit in there?
definitely- Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Might chunk it out the back though, doing some off-roading if it gets caught on something. But so that was the plan. I actually saw the concept way out of my budget, but I saw the concept online. It was called the Ford Ranger Prelander project. So Prelander. So it's a pre-runner.
What is a Prelander?
Pre-runner overlander.
What?
Yes, mixed together. So mine's not as extreme.
Man, they're mixing the like long travel kits and ARB bumpers. I've never seen it in my life. It's full.
Yeah. Okay, wait. We didn't talk about recovery gear. Who's gonna be the vehicle with recovery gear?
Well, every vehicle that goes off into the desert should have at least a tow strap.
Yes.
Tow strap, a shackle, a plug kit, tire plug kit.
They need a jack.
Max Tracks.
And cup of noodles.
And a cup of noodles, yes. Yeah, okay.
A big mistake is they don't have a jack that is like they put on a big tire that they don't check.
Are we talking high lift style jack?
No.
We just use the scissor jack and bring a block of wood.
You need a jack. You need to make sure that your jack will lift up.
But the stock jack will work, like Junior said, with a 4x4. Yeah.
It might not with 33s.
Yeah.
It will.
It probably won't.
Yeah.
It will.
So that's mine.
Then the other thing in the desert is that there's sand, and if you get a flat tire and you're in sand, you need to have something below your jack so it
a plate.
Lift it up. Some kind of plate, a big piece of wood, or it'll sink.
Put a bed liner in your truck so we can all use it.
Exactly. Yeah. and the Max Tracks would work for a jack plate, wouldn't it?
Max Tracks?
Yeah. That wasn't available back then.
That wasn't available.
A piece of plywood with nails driven in it. How's that? That works.
Are we going to change the rule to have at least one modern? No. Because I want a 270 Shadow.
This is vintage landing. Okay. This is
vintage he's pre-landing.
I'm pre-landing. All right. So I think mine's pretty well. I think I'm on budget. I don't think I'll have any issues. The cooler might throw me over the budget, but
so you're pre-landing. I'm like old man landing.
Yeah.
In all right, boring Junior. Car. So what do you got?
I'm gonna go with what I believe is the best bang for the buck.
Okay.
And it was only available in the United States for 1 year, model year.
1 year.
You're buying a unicorn?
And that is a 2009 Kia Borrego.
What in the world?
In other countries, AKA known as the Kia Mojave.
Kia Borrego?
Have you? He's lying. This vehicle does not exist, does it?
I've never even heard of that. What are you talking about? Yeah. I like the Mojave.
You got to get your minds off Ford Rangers, man.
What did they do? Sell 4 of them in the United States? Are we doing like NASCAR?
I think there was 12. But anyway, so my Kia Borrego found one for $4,995.
Wait a minute. What year is it?
09. They only made it 1 year for the U.S.
And this is a 4-wheel drive.
And it's still made. It's the Kia Mojave.
Right.
And why do you want the Kia Borrego?
We're going to get into that.
Wait, is that the hand of silence?
Different? So I found one for $49.95.
The only one still running in the United States.
It has 102,000 miles on it. It comes with a bulletproof timing chain V8 motor. So I have over 300 horsepower.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Okay. And it's a cab on chassis and has a transfer case.
So what type of...
Why wouldn't I?
What type of suspension are we talking about here?
It's independent rear.
Okay.
And it's dual wishbone front. So it has an upper arm, lower arm, and a coilover.
So you're going to be carrying
side-by-side. It has EV suspension.
I was just going to say he's going to be carrying a case of CVs with him if it's independent rear.
No, I think it's robust enough to handle a little bit of geometry change.
Okay. Well, where else did they sell that thing in the world?
Other countries outside of America. And other countries, actually, they were available with a diesel. They're available in the U.S. with a 3.8-liter V6, which was pretty potent in itself. It was like 278 horsepower. And then they had the 4.6-liter V8.
So you're spending $5,000 on the truck.
Yeah.
And it's not just a truck.
And
a Kia Borrego.
A Kia Borrego.
And it's the size. It's that weird size that's between like a mid-size SUV, like a 4Runner. It's between like a 4Runner suburban size of that era. Plenty of room to sleep. Heated seats.
Heated
leather?
Seats.
Leather, baby.
Leather's heated
so,
seats. Okay.
My plan,
going in luxury,
suspension-wise, would be to take a 9-inch 7100 coilover. And
1103?
Yeah.
R?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going full custom on the suspension because
Well, there's nothing that we don't do.
And you have the budget. You're only at $5,000.
So 7100 coilover. Do a little shock tower in there. You know, maybe a Synergy shock tower or a.
You're gonna put Jeep parts on a Kia Borrego.
You also got to remember
something to fasten the coilover to on the frame side.
It's got to be done by May, so
Yeah.
don't make too much fab work in
This
there.
isn't too bad. And I was thinking of doing maybe like a 7-inch travel 7100 rear coilover.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
I mean, motion ratio on the back is incredible. It's crazy. So obviously tune the shock for that, right? Tune it and you know, spring it correctly. And put 35s on it.
35s will fit on it.
33s fit on it stock. I think they come with close to 33 stock. So 35s and obviously cycle it. And
So you're going to break out the Sawzall and take care of some.
no, I think I'll limit the travel before I cut it up.
Okay.
I think you need to take the Sawzall out.
Yeah, I think so. Since
Kia
it's the,
Borrego.
it's the unicorn.
I'm not sure I'm going to take recommendations from two guys that have never even heard of the vehicle. I'm just saying.
Are you gonna have to do a
I'm
body
gonna
mount
put
chop?
Yeah.
You're gonna do a body
Body
mount
mount
chop?
Do a frame chop.
Do a frame chop?
So stock wheels, because I need the high offset to clear the larger tire. And I think I'll go with a Toyo RT, 35-inch Toyo RT.
Okay. Okay.
Metric equivalent, 295, 70, 18, because the one I have is the top of the line version at $49.95, and it comes with an 18-inch wheel, so I'll do a 295, 70, 18.
No Patagonias for you?
No
I'll pass.
Patagonias. Pass on the Patagonias. Bring your patch kit.
Not that they're not a good tire. I just have had great luck with Toyo and BFG. I might do a BFG. It depends. It depends. I definitely want a 10-ply tire because I want to run super low tire pressure because I'm not going to be able to spring this thing and valve it correctly. So I need some forgiveness in the tire.
Wait a minute.
Right.
What about you're not going to use our favorite tire company? Yours and my favorite tire company?
Do we have a favorite? Are we allowed to talk about a favorite?
Who's our favorite?
Who is our
Yokohama.
favorite? Oh, yeah, there you go.
I should.
Yokohama.
I should do Yokohamas.
Yeah.
Actually, I will do a Yokohama.
Do it.
Yes.
Yokohama
Just a tribute.
MT.
Okay.
There you
well,
go.
Well, I'm going to change the Yokohama.
You're going back to Geolander?
Yeah. Geolander for me too.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with BF Goodrich.
It's pretty important. The tire is going to be very, when
Yeah.
you're traveling
So important.
in the
Yeah.
desert.
Especially because I don't think I'm going to be able to target a good spring rate and valving profile right off the bat. I won't have time to go test it.
But you have leather seats.
So what better way to get a little bit more cush than
Soft tire.
dropping it to 10 PSI?
Yeah.
Yep. E-rated, drop to 10 PSI.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a
And
good
guess what I'm going to have?
What?
A V8. It's going to be able to motivate it.
Now you're going to need bead locks.
316 horsepower, man. 316 horse.
So at 10 PSI, you're going to rip the tires off the rims.
How much horsepower is an Xterra?
Like 280, I believe. Not bad for a 6-cylinder. Not bad.
Can I change mine? Mine's boring, but
So-
you know
so-
what?
Yeah.
I'm going to
Well,
have
I think
fun.
they're all boring compared to the Borrego. I can't wait to see this thing. You know, if it gets decided that this is the one that we build, I'm really excited to see the Borrego all decked out, ready to go to Flagstaff.
So how's your camping setup?
Yeah, the camping.
Should we move up to camping gear? How's your camping setup?
I just do a quick recovery kit. You know, a toe strap, a long one. 100-foot toe strap.
Did they have Max Tracks in, what was that, 2009?
No,
I didn't.
you got
Are
the
you
plywood
sure?
with nails in it too.
They probably had some legit African safari.
Well, remember we used to use that perforated metal decking that the military.
All I used was the rubber mats that restaurants use.
Yeah, we used to carry
use those at the bottom of the SUV to put everything on, and if I needed them, I would pull them out. Nothing works better than
drive
those
on it. Yeah.
rubber mats that have those big holes in them.
Yep.
That go, in restaurants so that the grease and stuff doesn't stay on the surface.
Yeah. Well, you'll have my Ranger will have a bed mat in it.
So
you
I'll
can
have
use
that in the back as my recovery, as my
Max Tracks.
restaurant tracks.
You know what works better than a Max Track?
Mm.
Another vehicle with a toe strap.
Right.
So
I thought you were going to say as traction. Just drive over the.
You know how
other
many
truck.
times I've seen people using Max Tracks with 35 PSI in their tire?
Spit them
and
out the back.
And they're just struggling to get these things to hook up. I'm like, man, just remove your valve core.
I thought you just used Max Tracks to level out your car at camp.
No.
Yeah.
I thought you
that's
just
what you
bolted
did.
them on the roof so they look cool. Keep the wind and rain off the roof.
You
the
mean
sunroof.
you mean to like make a bunch of noise when you're driving down the road?
Exactly. Attach them
you're
to the
talking
mole
about-
so they look cool.
We're not gonna have it. We're not gonna be able to use the Max Tracks, but maybe we can find something period correct.
Or maybe I can get the buy-in from our viewers, and maybe I'll put some Volk wheels on it.
Volk wheels. Explain that. What?
Well, they're a $4,500 minimum. $4,500 if you're buying them new. If you're buying them used on the
So
market,
why are you going to take a big wheel, like expensive wheel like that out in the
because
road?
I could get their buy-in.
Volk
And
wheels.
good question. Why would you take those in the rocks? And they do. They do. The last, I mean, I don't want to get in a tangent here, but the last thing I would do is put $4,500 wheels on an off-road.
So,
But
so
they do. They do.
again,
So why would you do it?
T37s, man.
Yeah.
Look them up.
yeah. So again, just like the Borrego, we got
Wait,
Volk
you're gonna use
wheels.
up your whole budget.
I know. I'm not going to do it. I'm not gonna do it. I just figured I'd throw that out there. So the Toyota community and the Lexus community would vote for me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and I guess we should share that too. So the idea is that those of you that are watching and listening vote on the different vehicles, and based on your votes, we're hoping that we'll be able to actually choose one and build it. So,
Well, either way, we're still gonna go on the. If we were to go on this trip,
right.
pick one of these cars. Well, whoever obviously gets the car they pick has to drive their car.
Right.
But then the people that
Those of
either-
us who get
either you or
shelled-
I,
yeah,
or we don't get ours picked, then we'll be driving our company Bronco
rental car.
No, our company Bronco and 8112s and our Jeep JL. as
Exactly.
support.
Support vehicles.
So
yeah.
we'll have the two support cars and then
And watch
then
the
overland
Borrego end
vehicle.
up pulling both of those things out.
Probably, yeah. They're
I'm
they're
just
the
saying,
long in the
this is
tooth.
like a Korean tank.
Yeah, yeah.
Yours will probably be a lot faster
Yeah.
on some of these.
Oh, it's a Korean tank, man. It's exactly what it is. It's a Korean tank.
So where did you see or hear about this vehicle? I'm curious. It's just baffling me that you even know what a Kia Borrego is.
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of
I
it.
just
You're eccentric.
I'm an idiot. Like if you
You're a
wanna
car
know-
guy. You're very eccentric. I know that.
I just like things that are different.
Yeah.
I mean, my other option was going to be an Astrovan all-wheel drive.
Ah,
Like
there
a
we
4.3
go.
liter
Yeah.
and a 700 R4.
This
I would have to build the 700 R4 because that's the weak link. The 4.3 is great. I'll just bring an alternator and a starter with me.
why don't you just bring a whole nother car? I mean,
I could probably build an. Well, no, because the Astrovan all-wheel drives are fetching.
how about just bolt the Astrovan on top of our Jeep and we'll drive it there that way?
I think the Astrovan would be a pretty good one, actually.
Yeah, but it's all-wheel drive, so there's no transfer case. But it doesn't matter. Like that thing gets it.
I think it'll be
You
fine.
know, but there's weak points in it.
You know
So
why
are you
it'll be
gonna?
fine? Because one of us will have a tow strap.
And we have shocks for it.
So are you going to change your vehicle to the Astrovan and let Shane have the? No,
So
okay.
so is that a torsion bar front?
The Astrovan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can do a torsion bar lift. I actually know somebody who actually built one of those for specifically to go all around.
You can convert just like you can on the Titan. You can convert half-ton Chevy stuff to.
I've seen a couple of those decked out pretty well for overlanding.
Or even the Express 1500 all-wheel drive, which all the 1500 or the S10 four-wheel drive stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can get away with using on the Astro, but on the Express all-wheel drive, you can actually take the 1500 6-inch kits and bolt them right on.
Well, you know,
You just have to do some front drive line because it is a different output shaft, so you have to do a little bit of modification.
should we integrate this one into the bonus? Maybe a bonus vehicle?
Bonus vehicle.
Because the Overland show
It's
is
turning into a van show.
that's
Yeah.
like 3/4 of a van.
van show.
We could keep it as a backup vehicle if like let's say if the
Or
last Borrego gets bought and we can't buy it,
Yeah.
you know.
What about a Mazda MPV?
I don't know. I like the Astrovan. I mean,
But
I
the
like
Mazda
the name.
MPV, you have all your sleeping arrangements are all done. All you do is lay the seats down, and you got like a king size bed.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd probably work better, but I just still like that Astrovan.
Yeah, the Astrovan's cool.
So what other for camping gear are you thinking about for the
Isn't
Borrego?
it weird that just 10 years, 20 years ago, creeps drove vans? And now everyone wants one.
I'm starting to like have
Like they were the creepiest
flashbacks
machine.
to
Like,
Silence of the Lambs.
like
or
honestly,
something.
like if I saw a van parked by a school,
Exactly.
or parked by a grocery
Yeah.
store, and the guy was not
Flashback to
moving,
Silence of
like
the
the
Lambs.
guy was just sitting in the seat looking around. I was like, that guy's a creep.
Well, it's kind of like breweries because back in the old days, you were a creep if you went to the bar at 12 noon.
Yeah,
And now it's cool.
yeah, it's the in thing.
Right?
Yeah,
But think about it. 10 years ago, if you talked about building a van to go overlanding,
We would think you're a wacko.
Yeah.
you were on Megan's law or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just not.
now
Kosher.
vans are the thing, man.
Van-
Well, I don't think it's 10 years ago. I think that might have been, vans have been around for quite a bit.
And remember, Pathfinder Customs used to do solid axle swaps on them.
Well, what about
U-joint and
yeah?
all these good manufacturers out there? I mean, Pathfinder was one that was kind of heavily forgot about, but it did most of the GM stuff, whereas U-joint did most of the Ford stuff.
What was the other company that did the F-350s? Quigley.
Or
Quigley.
sportsmobile. too?
Sportsmobile, Quigley.
Yeah.
Those were big.
Yeah,
Well, Quigley
they were
built
big.
the Sportsmobile
Yeah.
van for them,
Yeah.
right? So then, but there was also Pathfinder Customs, who did the Dodge and the Chevys. They put a Dana 44 axle in the front, and
And back in the day, a Quigley Sportsmobile was
that was heavy money, man.
100.
It was
1,000.
heavy money to be a creep back then.
Yeah, and they were pretty capable. So I'm curious, Shane, can you reveal kind of the route we're going to take if we get approved to do this?
Yeah, well, we're going to start right out in our backyard. We're going to hit our first dirt road in Ramona, California,
Right.
which is, 20 minutes from here?
Yep.
And we'll go mostly off-road all the way.
You know what? I might run into an issue with fuel, so I need to actually carry some gas cans.
We're
No
all gonna
Rotopacks.
have to carry
gas. Yeah.
for sure.
They'll be the old steel jerry cans because that's the only thing that was available back then. No Rotopacks, man.
There might have been some.
Yeah, the plastic cans.
I
were
might
around.
just put a transfer flow in the back of mine.
You gonna sleep with your gas inside the truck?
Why not?
Yeah.
I'm pretty darn sure because I'm pretty darn sure Rotopacks were available in 11 because I had them on my Bronco.
for 11 but me,
I had 'em on my
I'm stuck
Bronco.
with the old steel
Yeah.
jerry can.
You're stuck with a milk carton.
Exactly. Give me one of those paper boxes with plastic liner.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we're gonna need gas. We'll probably I don't know who's running a fridge and who's running ice chest.
I'm running ice chest.
And then I got an idea after. Should we auction the vehicle or should we let Doug Mittag drive this thing in Plaster City to see how long it takes
Till
to
it
break
destroys it. That might be fun.
Take all the stuff out of it and say, "Here, Doug, drive this in Plaster City and see when it breaks."
Just the ultimate destructive torture. Durability
Oh, no,
testing.
we couldn't do that. It put that poor guy in a hospital.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
So I don't know.
Keep the moonroof open, Doug.
Exactly. Eject.
I don't know. I like the idea of raffling this thing.
I do too.
I mean, we
I
definitely don't want it.
Yeah, I think after it,
You never know.
makes the
Depending on how it does.
Junior might keep.
I mean,
it.
if we get some good footage of this thing, we might have some guys out there. It might be like a legit automotive auction, man.
Yeah, well, or maybe everybody's out there searching for Kia
Maybe we
Borregos
get the
to make
footage.
Overlanders.
Wait.
Maybe we get the footage of the journey and we play the footage in the booth at Overland Expo West,
Yeah.
so people know what they're bidding on.
So it seems like to me everybody thinks we keep saying that we're taking the Borrego. Do you think no one's going to pick your car?
I don't
Ford
know.
Ranger?
Mine's pretty old school, but I like tribute to the old school. You know, that was what we had back then. I actually owned that truck back then, and I did a lot of fun off-roading.
No
in it, so-
self-respecting Western human being wants to take a Ranger
Yeah, well,
on
I
that
don't know,
journey.
Rangers are pretty badass.
yeah, that's
Does
the
it have
truck I
a heated
had.
seat?
What?
Does it have a heated seat?
No,
Of course not.
That truck made it to Gonzagas Bay a few times and back.
Yeah, that's.
We used to have
I did that in an '85 Celica 22 RE.
Yeah, and I towed you out.
We used to have a company Ranger, and we took that all over the place.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a few.
that was a good
different-
Ranger. That was an 01. That was an 01.
It was
Yeah.
an 01. It had
A-arm car with an RCD coilover conversion on it,
Yeah.
and Ever springs in the back. It had that bed slide, and it drove so much better with that slide in it.
The weight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it had a
that's what I
contractor
keep
shell.
telling my doctor. I said I ride so much better.
with the weight.
Yeah, with the
We're
weight.
trying to get it up.
It had a contractor shell.
Yeah,
So you can get a contractor shell.
I could. I like the desktop though.
I don't
Remember
know.
the old contractor shell that had the wood grain inlay on the side?
Yeah,
called
that's the one.
six-pack?
That's the one I'd want.
What's the one that place in El Cajon? It started with a C.
Callan campers.
Callan campers. You can get a Callan camper.
They were expensive. They were actually Highline.
You'd have to get a used one, right?
Yeah, you could probably.
Is that company still
Or
around?
you can go just get a snug top like the old grandpa camper that.
But the snug top's fiberglass, and that would rattle itself to death.
Yeah,
pretty true.
I think you could make it at least. Like it took us years to rattle that contractor.
But that
shell.
was metal. That was metal.
It was aluminum. It was cheap.
But all you do is just put some let's put some rubber grommets between the bed and the
right.
You know what I mean, to isolate.
Or
it.
you just
lift it
cover
up
the
off
whole
frame,
thing.
bro.
I could cover the whole thing in Flex Seal.
It took many years for that contractor.
That's how my
shell.
plumbing. That's how the plumbing in my home is.
Exactly.
Well, not only that, like what Wheel Every Weekend proved at that one video with the 8112s is that contractor shell is
It makes the truck go so much faster.
Major performance.
He created controversy, is what he did.
Yeah. The fastest camper shell in the West.
major performance increase and speed in the desert.
We, as a suspension manufacturer, should sell camper shells because they increase suspension performance dramatically.
Yeah.
Not just camper shells, but aluminum contractor camper shells.
Right.
Or just bags of cement.
Exactly. A bladder full of water or something. So you don't think
Do you remember
anyone's
that
gonna
old thing that we used? They built for a while. They were trying to get Super Duties to ride nice Super Duties and Rams. It was called the bed mat, and it was basically
Full of water.
yeah. You remember that thing?
Yeah.
So it was this
rid of-
bladder. It basically looked like a water bed in the
Yep.
shape of your bed.
Yeah.
And you filled it up with water. But what they didn't understand is how that water
Slosh around.
rotated
Yeah.
when you were turning, man.
So
That thing was a disaster.
Just a little add-on to that story. People that are listening in the Midwest and on the East Coast, they still sell those, but they have baffles in them, and they use them in snow season with open bed pickup trucks for traction. It's a traction device.
Wow.
But the key is, like you said, to have the baffle so the water doesn't slosh around. But my dad actually uses one in his truck. In the wintertime, fills it up with water, and it helps build traction. They actually let them use studded snow tires, too. So.
Guess what you're going to have in your truck? Since
What's
you're
that?
the only one with a truck.
A water bladder?
You're going to have water bladder.
I'm going to carry extra water back there, right? We could drink it. You could actually take a bath in it, too, if you need to.
I'm good. I think I'm good. What do we poke a hole in this bladder and lay under the truck
Exactly. It's a sun shower.
You can take a shower.
bed? That's disgusting.
What you got to do is that maybe that could be your water source.
That's my water supply, yeah. I don't have to carry
For the
runner
whole
packs.
group.
That's good. And then halfway through the trip, you get E. coli.
Exactly.
That's not.
That's part of the journey.
That's not.
What fun is it if someone doesn't get E. coli?
That's not. Yeah.
I'm still curious about the route. So we start in Ramona. What are some of the high points?
Well, we're
have
going to
that
go.
layout yet?
We're going to go through Borrego.
Right. Okay.
So
That's a fun trip.
We can go. We have Ode to Borrego.
Right.
Probably the biggest route for the pavement is that once we get to we're going to basically go through Borrego and we're going to hit something called the Salton Sea,
Oh, yeah.
and we have to drive around it.
big mud
So,
puddle.
if we got enough funding, is there a boat that could take us across?
Sure. I'm sure we
Through
can
all the
find
dead fish and all
yeah,
that?
we can
Ugh,
find a ferry
so
that'll
gross out
take
there.
us across.
No, but we'll drive around it, and then on the other side of the Salton Sea, we'll continue our off-road journey.
On the dirt, yeah.
Now, obviously, we're going to have a camera crew, and we're going to have.
You mean
a
we're going
couple-
to have Garrett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garrett.
That's the
So we'll
official
have,
BILSTEIN camera crew.
We'll have Garrett, but he's going to obviously need someone to be in
To
the chase
drive.
vehicle, right?
Right.
Well, he's going to have to fly the drone half the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how many chase vehicles are we taking?
We're going to
I mean, this is if the stars line up, right? This is only going to happen if the stars line up and we get approval. And
which is all going to be dependent on any kind of reaction to this.
Yeah, exactly. We will move
So
no,
he'll be flying
no
the
way
drone.
forward without reaction.
Chelsea will be driving the Bronco.
Right.
Who's driving the JL?
Well, I don't know. I'll drive it. I love
No,
that
no,
thing.
you. Oh yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna have because
yeah.
there's only one car.
Only
that's
one
going.
car is going to make it, so Shane and I will be driving.
Yeah,
We're going
the
to take
other
the
two.
JL and the Bronco.
See, I'm already assuming that
and
we're
we
going to
take
lose.
Bobby because Bobby's good for some content too.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
We're going to need
Bobby.
we're going to need one of those Blue Eddy things to charge the drone.
Oh yeah, we're gonna need solar panels.
We're gonna have
Solar panels weren't available then.
Yes, I know.
No, on one of our
This
Broncos.
is
one
a
of our-
support vehicle. Yeah.
So basically, the car that we choose is going to be a total roach, and then we're going to be followed by these like fully equipped
Overlanders
cars
exactly.
with mollies.
with mollies and
Yeah.
Rotopacks.
Meanwhile, this Kia Borrego's trying to skip its way over to Flagstaff.
Yeah, across the Salton Sea.
14 flats and a head gasket later.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're going to be like sleeping on a cot while Chelsea's up in the Alu cab.
Yeah,
That's going to be a
nap.
little, that'll be
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? We're going to have that bladder, so we'll have plenty of water.
Yeah, you could actually sleep
plenty
on
of E. coli.
Yeah, you can sleep on the bladder
good.
just like a water
So
bed.
that's how it's going to go. There's going to be 2 super well-equipped overland cars with a drone and drone operator.
Following either a Nissan Xterra, a 2011 model year, a 94 Ranger XLT 4-wheel drive 4-liter, or a Kia Borrego.
Yeah.
Now, 2009,
Yep.
brand new.
My vote's
So-
on the Borrego, man. I gotta see
So,
this thing.
so
I'm gonna.
the
comment
audience
on
is going
Borrego.
to pick what they would like to see, right?
And the car they picked, the person who picked that car has to drive it the whole way.
I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm so down.
Well, you're going to have heated seats.
you're gonna have heated seats. The rest of us are gonna be suffering.
Heated seats and 10 psi, man. I'll feel like I'm on a I'm a luxury pre-runner.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be all right.
All right. Well, so what else? What else is in this deal that we haven't revealed yet?
But
Is there any more
let's
secrets?
wait. Let's touch on this. What do we think? Actually, because the goal is to try to get this thing auctioned off. How many people do you think is going to want a Borrego
We'll have to build
Depends
it.
on
versus a Ranger or an Xterra?
It depends. Yeah, that's true.
Because it's not common. No, I mean, it's not like anyone goes out and tries to buy a Kia Borrego. You know what I mean? When's the last time you've ever heard of anyone saying, "Hey, honey, it's Saturday. Let's go look for this Kia Borrego"?
Yeah, but that's the thing is, by you making it a unicorn, people are gonna like really feel it. They're gonna want these.
Hey, if I start a Kia Borrego trend, I tell you what.
You better
Like,
buy
I
them
want-
all right
yeah,
now so you can resell them.
Something like for it.
Yeah.
I think you have a point there because if you at the end of the line, if we all know this is never going to happen, but at the end of the line, if we actually do, we're sitting at Flagstaff. Yeah, I don't know how many people are going to want a Kia Borrego.
Yeah.
Especially one that's been beat. I don't know. Maybe we'll just have to like light it on fire.
The
and do
new
Burning
Kia
Man or something.
Sorento made it up hell's revenge. So I got a head start.
Yeah.
So I think that has to play into it. Like, which car would you want to have in your driveway?
Yeah. So when people that are watching this, when you guys pick which vehicle, this vehicle,
Could be in your driveway.
It could be.
yeah, with a for sale sign on it for sure. We know you guys are gonna keep
Exactly.
it.
Yeah. No, I'm curious. Are we gonna?
And let's get custom plates made for it because I just do custom plates on everything I have, and we'll just call it the Brokelander, and
Yeah.
we'll just say BRKLNDER and just make sure that's available.
Brokelander. There you go.
Brokelander.
Well,
So
you'll
are
have
we going
plenty
to
of budget.
invite?
You'll have
Are we
plenty
going to
of
invite people that are interested in our brand and to go along on this trip with us?
I don't
Or-
think so. No.
No, we're just going to make.
Maybe we can meet up. at
Hey,
this.
maybe
yeah.
we can have a
Maybe we
better
can meet up.
maybe we have a better chance of this happening if we have some sponsorship to it. So if
But we only have
anyone-
$15,000 though.
But if we have sponsorship to it, like a tire sponsorship,
Yeah,
hey,
but I'm thinking that's compliance issues right there.
Yeah, but we have a budget that we have to.
oh
keep
yeah,
in
Yeah,
mind.
you start getting sponsored, and then you can get all
People
this
could
cool
sh-
stuff.
Next thing you gotta get sponsored, the Borrego's gonna have an axle under it.
Yeah, exactly.
2 Dynatracs.
Yeah. Dynatrack wants to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Great. Send over some
There you
of
go.
these.
Now we have a very capable, and then people are going to want it more. I mean, it's kind of a neat concept, but it's
Really a unique car. And you know what? It's unfortunate that we as a society are more, and this is to the Overland community as well, as much as they're going to hate it. But it's too bad we follow trend rather than, because that's why the Kia Borrego didn't make it. That's exactly why. No one knew what it was. No one thought outside the box. And it became the people that now they need something that size, and that's what's affordable. So that's who's buying this car. When really, it's a very capable car. I mean, the only thing this size that was available with a V8 in 09 was a Toyota 4Runner. And that was the last year they made it with a V8.
Maybe we should all get Kia Borregos.
Yeah, we should
3 of them.
build dueling Borregos.
Yeah. I mean, it's named after our desert.
It's named after where we're going.
Well,
However, I
initially,
don't know that they were thinking that when they named it, but
I'm sure. Why not?
yeah. My thing is that in 2009, was Kia a brand that people thought of as an off-road vehicle back then?
Of course not.
No way.
That's more why it didn't make it, I don't think. Right? Even if they touted it as a very capable vehicle, people are going, Kia, I wouldn't even buy one of those to drive to work.
But you know, look at what their other line's doing now.
Yeah,
like
they're extremely popular now.
Yeah, like the Kia Optima. I mean, same thing as the Hyundai
I
Sonata.
just don't think that the brand had any power, is market power back then. I think that they kind of grew.
It did kind of look like a Chrysler Pacifica,
It
though.
did. It is very.
Yeah, no one's asking for your opinion.
Yeah, it's strange looking.
Well, it's kind of ugly.
It's definitely not a Forerunner. You know, it doesn't have the. Cool
Well, it
look.
wasn't a Forerunner because it wasn't what your neighbor drove. That's why it wasn't a Forerunner. If everyone caught on to the Kia Borrego being a great car, which it is,
It would still be being sold.
right.
Yeah.
You know the difference between this V8 and the 2UZ that's used in the Forerunner? This has way more horsepower. This has a timing chain. This is direct
Not a
injection
belt.
and does blow a little bit of oil. It does
Yeah.
get some blow by.
That's
But
fine. That's fine.
the 2UZ is not without its own concerns. You know what I mean? So if
Well,
you
timing
actually
belts,
did
yeah.
if you actually did as much research on a car that suited you as a driver rather than the car you wanted to be seen in as a driver,
Yeah.
the Kia Borrego would have done better
Yep.
in the US.
Yep. No, that's very true. You're right. The trend seems to grab more business.
Yeah, it's just it's a fad.
Yeah.
I mean, not only that. I mean, let's face it. Not most people don't go off road their Forerunners, right? Especially back then in 09.
Yeah,
In 09, like Forerunners weren't like that great.
most of the Forerunner owners outside of third gen guys are aesthetics guys.
In 09,
and fourth gens. I think the fourth gen does see a lot of off road. I think the fifth gen guys.
but people didn't catch on to that till later, though. I mean, Forerunner's a great off-road platform, but people didn't really get it.
Well,
Until-
You know what I didn't get?
What?
This is just out. This is directly to Toyota. Why didn't you guys market the two-wheel drive as a two-runner?
A 2-runner, yeah. Well, what I think is that I noticed a pickup in the overlanding
Did you
trend.
just think of that?
Yeah. so
Two-runner.
funny. The 2-runner. The pickup in overlanding was
number 2 or
it was paralleled with COVID.
what?
The overlanding trend grew heavily.
It was
during
before COVID.
COVID. You think so?
It was ramping up way before COVID.
But I think it grew a lot because people
Yeah,
had
because
time
people-
off. And
they were working from Borrego.
exactly. Yeah. They're working
know what I
from
mean?
Borrego, working from wherever. I just think people either viewed it as a way for more freedom or more adventure, or they're building a doomsday truck. I mean, that's just the two ways.
When you see a vehicle outfitted,
Decorated?
Decorated.
Or outfitted?
no, decorated.
Decorated.
We're in the holiday season, so
Yeah.
let's decorate.
Let's decorate it.
When you see a vehicle decorated with $4,500 wheels,
Are those Volk wheels?
Yeah, like
that's a Volk wheel. But there's also other manufacturer wheels that are extremely expensive that these guys are out. They'll whip $5,000 out of their pocket just for wheels, and they have to have the fifth wheel. You know what I mean?
For the
Because
spare,
they have it
yeah.
on their rack, so people in the back could see what they're driving,
carrier,
what they're rolling to. You know,
So you're back to just saying it's a trend. It's all about status.
100%.
Yeah.
You know what?
Well,
and
no,
I'm going to tell you a lot of the
no.
pop. I'm going to tell you. And this is just my opinion. Crucify me in the comment section. This is the trend. It is a trend, and most of these guys, and I know this because I mingle with them. Most of these guys are the guys that were driving Honda Civics, Honda Preludes, fast little compact cars in 99 to 2000. Now they all have families. They're still automotive enthusiasts. I'm not taking away the enthusiast part of it all. These guys are enthusiasts. Who the hell would not be an enthusiast and spend $5,000 for wheels?
Yeah.
But these are all those guys that have graduated into having a family, having kids, having a wife. So now they want something to modify. So they're modifying these Forerunners, these Tacomas, these more family-friendly vehicles. But it still handles their itch
Yeah,
for
to
modifying
modify
a car.
vehicle. Yeah.
And it's just the current fad. It's the current trend that's going on. And they're true car guys. I don't think they're true off-road guys. There are some that are true off-road guys, but I think they should be called automotive enthusiasts rather than overlanders, because I think it fits the bill better.
Well, overlanding has been around forever, right?
Yeah.
Pre-landing.
But let's hone in on what you're talking about. You're
Hone in on it.
You're talking about decorating with certain products of certain brands on Toyota vehicles. Specifically, only Toyota vehicles.
I don't think Shane is serious enough without glasses.
Let me ask you a question. How many 200? I mean, you see them out there.
When is
But
Shane
how
gonna get
many
some glasses?
200 series Land Cruisers do you see outfitted?
Not very many.
Yeah.
Why? Right.
Because they don't say 4Runner on the side?
Well,
why
because
why
they're-
not? You tell me why not.
Because they are, and I think this is the main reason they discoed them in the U.S. and they went to the 250, because they're just outside that price range that people are willing to pay.
Oh, you're talking about 200s.
200s, yeah.
How does every episode
I think the
end up on Land Rover?
I don't know.
Or Land Cruiser.
We don't talk Land Rover.
Yeah, you
I
have
don't think
a
we've
Rover.
ever mentioned Land Rover.
We haven't.
At all.
Maybe I should build
Because
one of
that's a
those.
vehicle. Oh, the comments are about to blow up. That's a vehicle that likely would not make it.
Oh no.
I mean, let's get it right.
You would need that bladder,
Yeah.
but instead of water, it'd be oil.
Yeah, exactly.
And another bladder with fuel.
Just keep pumping it full of oil.
Well, let's go back to let's talk about Land Rover. So when overlanding,
I mean, they made decent Land Rovers,
let's
in
go to
the
the
80s,
let's go
the
to the
big-
Disco, the Discovery
Yeah.
Qs, right?
Yeah.
Discovery.
Those
2 was
were
a great
heavily,
vehicle.
but I wouldn't say that was decoration because that was before this whole trend.
I mean,
Yeah.
without Land Rovers, would you think we would have a 33 1050?
But they
Hell
were
no.
they
Do you
were
think we would have a
overlanding.
255 85?
They were
I
overlanding
think-
before it was cool.
no, they were overlanding before people called it overlanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the whole they just called it. It used to be we just go off road.
Yeah, drive to the desert.
And then they came up with this name called overlanding.
Yep.
And then a few years later, people started decorating their Toyotas,
Yeah.
and it became a trend.
But if you look at the Land Rover community, anyone that's really overlanding has done a TDI swap or a Chevy V8 swap, because the motors just aren't.
yeah,
Like
but
the
they,
4-liter, they use plastic crank pulleys. And
yeah, but they had traction boards attached to the side of the car.
Yeah.
They had gas tanks on the roof.
What
No,
about
that's-
you're talking
they
about the Disco? What about the
all these
stadium
lights.
seating?
Yeah.
You remember the
Yeah,
stadium
yeah.
seating?
Well, the Xterra had that.
So
too.
your passengers, no, it didn't have stadium seatings like a Disco.
No,
like
but
the-
Xterra had the passenger seat was higher in the back, so you looked over the driver's
Yeah,
head.
so the stadium seating and that's why they had those other windows too
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the front, so that your passenger can actually
See in front.
see in front and
that's
enjoy
kind
the
of a
view,
throwback
or
from like Safari.
see when
like
the tow
African
truck was
Safari.
coming. You know what I mean? Whatever they were using the stadium seats
Yeah.
for.
And you can and they had kind of a high ceiling, so you could stack all kinds of stuff in there.
Camping gear in there.
And
See
they
how-
had roof.
And they
fans
had the
stuff.
high ceiling because of the stadium seating.
See how a slip
mean,
of the tongue starts a whole new topic.
So I've been in the industry for 25 years, right?
You're
And I would say like
bragging now. He needs glasses.
no, I used to hang around with some guys that had Rovers, and they had easy on roof tents, and they had metal traction devices, and
Yeah.
all kinds of that
I
stuff.
remember wheeling with
And,
those
and
guys.
you know what? And they had ladders. So it seemed like the 4Runner, when it started getting on trend, what did they have? A ladder. They had like
you would the water.
Yeah, so you can climb up
That's
the
a
back
nice
of the truck.
little water.
That's so you could put
They
stuff
were-
on the roof rack.
they outfitted the 4Runner just like the Land Rover.
I mean, I shouldn't talk too much about Land Rovers because outside of this country, they were available with different powertrains that were far more reliable.
yeah.
So if you go to Australia, you go to Africa safaris, all you see is 2 vehicles, and that's Toyota Land Cruisers, whether it be a 70 series, whether it be a 45 series, whether it be a 100 series, you see Land Cruisers and you see Rovers.
Yep.
And what else besides the fact you can carry a bunch of junk inside it and on the roof was compelling about the Land Rover?
One more time. Say
What-
that one more again.
Besides that you can put a bunch of junk in the back and on the roof, and you had stadium seating, what was probably one of the most compelling
Live
things?
axle.
Yes.
Yes.
Bingo.
Yes.
Solid axle.
Yeah.
Which was a hybrid of an actual Toyota axle. It was a burr-filled axle.
Yeah, burr-filled axles, yeah.
And it was a long radius arm.
Oh, yeah.
Long front and rear.
Yep.
Pretty capable
Very,
little
very
vehicle.
capable.
I should
That
probably
thing
change
always,
mine now.
there was one, I believe, a few years that one of the radius arms were shorter than the other.
Oh, really?
So that's why when you ramped them out, like one side would lift higher, but the other side had, you know, better articulation. Those things were bizarre. And the right-hand drive ones were just, they were sweet.
They were
and you know,
great,
like the Defender 90, that was such a capable rig, but it's just,
car.
and I think the U.S. only had them in 97, right?
Well, one of my favorite cars of all time is the D110.
Yes.
I would take a D110.
Are you going to change yours to a D110?
Yeah, except
So
for they cost
you know what was cool?
$100,000.
What people don't realize is the Defender 90. They're referring to your wheelbase. It's a 90-inch wheelbase.
Right.
And the 110 was a 110-inch wheelbase.
Right.
And the Defender 110, the D110 was the Defender 110
With the longer wheelbase.
with the longer wheelbase was rad.
Yeah.
And they actually were the best for safaris, man.
But you can't get any of that stuff on our budget.
Oh no,
Not a 110, no.
No.
you can't get a 110 on Shane's real budget.
Yeah.
No. Well, that was an interesting. I don't even know if you can buy even a Disco 2 for.
No, they would.
You can. Discos, I mean, they're getting traction again.
Are they?
Yeah, but there was at one point you couldn't give those things away.
I mean, they're pretty bad, right?
Yeah,
like reliability wise.
Yeah, reliability is terrible. The 4-liter V8 was just there was no performance behind it on top of the fact that it was a maintenance hog.
I'll tell you one thing. I think if it wasn't for that, it'd be a nice.
Yeah, that's why
Definitely
a lot of people buy them because you can get them for $1,000 or $1,500 not running, and you just drop a Chevy V8 in them.
All right, I'm changing mine to Disco 2.
No, we've already put too much energy in it at this point.
Well, think about an Xterra. It's kind of it has the raised.
Yeah,
roof.
it's the same.
It kind of has the same.
It has the same look,
But it's way different. Like the stadium, like
No,
Defenders
it's
were built
not.
for guys your size. Defenders weren't built for guys, or not Defenders, but Discos. They weren't. Have you ever sat in a Disco and drove one?
Yeah,
Oh my God, dude.
you're like this, like a.
Yeah, but I feel like there's not a good seating position for the front driver. Like I've driven them, and I think I might have got like steering wheel burn right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the trend.
There's no room in them.
But the look of an Xterra kind of follows that.
Yeah,
line.
it has. I think they probably
Yeah,
targeted
100%.
that.
And I'm telling you, when Forerunners were getting on trend and people were decorating, they put on all the same like roof rack and ladders and on the roof. And
What's with Toyota though? Like Toyota, I don't understand their buyer, and I'm a buyer. I don't understand.
You
myself.
don't get yourself.
Right. So here's the
Understand
deal.
himself.
Toyota is single-handedly one of the only manufacturers that can stretch a vehicle out as long as they do and still have diehard buyers.
Oh yeah.
There's no other manufacturer. Look at the Honda Accord. They're on like generation 94. I got a 94th gen Accord.
Yeah, Forerunners on 5.
And Forerunner is on 5th gen, and they started in 84.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the chassis was what, 03?
Yeah.
Fourth gen has.
Yeah.
Realistically,
But really, the
same
4th
chassis.
gen is the same car as a 5th gen.
Exactly.
Outside of the fact they're no longer with a V8.
So I thought a new Forerunner was coming out in 24. I just looked. They're still rolling the old Forerunner in 24.
Yeah, and you still got the buyers. Like Forerunner right now is probably, outside of reliability and off-road capability, it's probably the stupidest vehicle to buy with the prices that they are.
Right.
Because there's no technology. There's no creative technology behind it. They don't got neon lights that you can change colors. You know what I mean?
They got that thing
Why
where
do I
you press the
want neon
button and you
lights?
can talk to it.
Yeah.
They
Like,
do have that.
they have like Apple CarPlay, Android CarPlay. They have navigation that still looks like Pac-Man.
Hey, I know for a fact
Recently,
that
they just did the button to start it.
But then we're in a
You used to have a
technology.
key.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, the 94 Ranger doesn't even have a cup holder, dude. So
That's that's because it's a limited edition.
Yeah.
You can
Limited
buy
on
an
the
after-
cup holders.
Yeah.
So why do people still buy the Forerunner? And why is it $55,000 for a used one? It blows my mind. When we're and the reason it blows my mind is because we're such a technology-driven society today, right? Like, I just bought an iPhone 94, and the 95 comes out. Nothing's wrong with my 94, but I need to get the 95. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how Toyota has grasped the market like that with their prolonged chassis, like 2003 to 2024. That's 20 years of the same frame, dude. I mean, they're the smartest people in the world.
I think they look cool, so people buy it.
Yeah.
People buy stuff that looks cool.
Plus, it's on trend.
I don't know if they're on. I mean, I think last year was the first year that they actually had LED headlamps.
How long did they make a D90 and D110 for overseas?
They're still making them.
Yep.
Probably about the same
They're
amount of
still
time.
making them.
Yep.
Just like in Mexico, they still make the old real Volkswagen Bug.
I guess if people are buying it and it works,
Yeah,
why not
it just
change it?
but it's just from a focus standpoint, like we are so technology driven in everything we buy today, right? Will this thing monitor my footsteps? Will this thing monitor my breaths? Will this thing tell me if I have a booger in my left nostril? But we buy $55,000 cars with technology that is
From the
subpar
90s. Yeah.
in comparison to the technology that's out.
to the Kia.
Yep. The Kia Borrego.
A Ford Explorer technology, like their technology in a Ford Explorer, you get into this thing, it's like you're sitting in you're sitting in a spaceship.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't believe that Toyota with our current, I can believe it because of their reliability, their resale value, the cost of ownership, all that makes sense to me. Technology standpoint, Toyota loses every time.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get back.
Even getting into the Lexus, Toyota loses every time with technology compared to the big luxury names. They lose every time.
What do you want to get back into?
So I want to get back on topic.
Yeah.
Since we're on a budget,
Yeah.
and you mentioned cup holders.
Man, you just bought a Prospector 3500. You are on no budget.
Talking about this show.
So what about the cup holders? I'm interested.
So, we're on a budget. I think part of this build is that we go down to Pet Boys and fill up the basket with a bunch of things.
Oh,
so what
add-ons. What are we going
And
are we gonna
on
get at
our
Pet
journey
Boys?
there, we have to go to a grocery store and buy all store brand foods, Kroger.
Yeah.
Okay, we do that. So what are you going to get?
I have to get a cup
What are
holder
you gonna
because my
get?
truck
What are
doesn't
you gonna
come
get?
with one.
Remember those old plastic cup holders that you used to fit on the, the thing that you shoved it in the door in the window
I
slide?
got to get
Well, your
a couple
car's
of
going to
those.
have cup holders.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and
my cup holders actually.
And I wanted
want
to
in
get
the-
some of the glue-on bump strips, on the doors. I got to have those so the trees don't scratch the truck.
I think
I'm
I'm
gonna get curb. I'm gonna get curb
Feelers.
curb peelers, the
Yeah.
two metal things that you
What
put
were
on
you
your
gonna
mud flap.
I think I want to get one of those like seat covers with like the little wood things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
The little beads,
Yeah.
beaded seat cover.
Yeah.
Oh my
those
gosh.
are rad.
Yeah.
Those are actually feel really good.
Yeah.
And then maybe like an extension for the sun visor for the side or something.
Yeah.
Because it'll be hot
Yeah.
in the desert.
Oh, mine has that. Mine actually, if I flip my sun visor,
There's another sun
will
visor.
slide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're going to need a lot of stuff from Pet Boys. 'cause
Yeah,
you're
I just
gonna-
have to get in there and look around and see what's cool.
and make sure you get your 8-ball valve stem covers.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
and some pine tree air fresheners, of course, right?
Yeah.
Because the Ranger from '94, I'm sure there's a dead rat in it somewhere that's probably stinking up
100%.
pretty good.
But your Ranger did have rats living in it.
yeah. You opened the hood that one day and that rat almost spit your face off.
One time we were down in the desert, right after we came home, and something was wrong with your car. Or
I just
something?
needed oil and I
He
borrowed it from you.
he lifts up his hood, and a rat comes scurrying out from the motor and is like disappears back. Into
I
the
think
car.
that rat came from the desert. I don't think it lived in my truck. I think it
Swear to God.
came from there. Yeah, that was a rat attack. I
And then-
forgot all
and then-
about that.
What else about your other rat story with your brand new truck?
Oh, that was the Tundra. Yeah, they got in the heater box
Oh, I remember
from the
that.
outside. Yeah, yeah.
All right, so you're gonna need a rat trap.
Some sort of rat.
All you got to do
Yeah.
is take Irish Spring,
Yeah.
chop it up in cubes, and zip tie it to like major components because they hate the smell of Irish Spring.
Oh,
Oh,
I
really?
tried that with dryer
Really?
sheets, but
Yeah.
they say dryer sheets does that, but it doesn't
So
work.
Mike's gonna have
Like, if
like
you-
rat
if you-
Yeah,
traps all
Irish
around
Spring
the car.
hanging all over inside the truck.
If you don't like to clean your home but don't want rats, just throw
Irish
bars
Spring
of Irish Spring
everywhere,
all over,
yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, I haven't had good luck with rats.
All the hoarders out there, Irish Spring.
Yeah, that was my favorite pet rat. It tried to eat Shane's face when we tried to put oil in the truck, but yeah.
I had that happen where a possum got into my, like, your balancer, your belt, your serpentine belt off of the lower crank balancer, and he couldn't get out. And I didn't know, but he had wedged himself in there and he couldn't get out. And when I started the car,
Ugh. You had possum guts everywhere.
oh, just one scream, one gentle scream.
Yeah.
And it was all over.
The possum soup comes out the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I blew something up in the motor that bleeds.
Exactly.
So when we get one of these cars, we're going to have to definitely do a full inspection for rats and possums.
Yes. And I say that the one that we choose out of budget gets a BILSTEIN wrap.
Out of budget?
Well,
yeah, so you can't include it in the budget to wrap it with BILSTEIN because that would blow your
All right.
budget.
I don't know, because we also want to make sure that, like, if the audience wants the Kia Borrego, wrapping something that we don't have a product for probably wouldn't make sense. You know?
Yeah, but it's just a fun thing. So when
but
it rolls,
we're gonna use
the BILSTEIN
universal
logo
product.
goes over and over and over as it rolls down.
We
the hill.
do. We have universal product. Remember we did a whole episode on universal fit product?
Yeah. We're trying to
So
get
we will
universal
be-
product moving here.
We will be adding universal BILSTEIN products.
At the very least, we'll cover it in BILSTEIN stickers.
I could probably actually get a 6112 to work.
You know what I could actually do? I can get that old Tundra coilover
Yeah,
To
we used to do it on the Xterras.
with
186520.
Yep.
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 The Magic.
In fact, there
coilover.
was a Nissan place that was a Nissan specific place that was buying those from.
There was a company that made a
top hat,
top hat mount, and then we just sold them that
The
Tundra
chuck.
coilover.
Well,
and it was nice.
there was more than just one.
Yeah, there's
I think Trail Gear did it. I think the biggest one was they're no longer in business. Was
a place in Florida.
no, they ended up moving to Arizona. What was that name of that?
Oh,
All Pro.
Yeah, All Pro offer.
All Pro made them.
Yeah.
But
That
they also made those for the Nissans.
that was the BTS, the original BTS kit for first gen Tundra. Was
Well, there's also guys that take
was
the
on
old
my Tundra.
5150 stem mount and take the rod end off of that side and run the stem mount so they can actually fasten it to a factory top hat assembly.
Yeah.
Isn't there a Nissan company called Nistec?
They're not. I don't think they're in business.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want to get some Nistec stuff.
Yeah,
You-
there's
you know what I
plenty.
want? I want the banner on the front window.
The window.
Yeah. Yeah, that was period correct. The BFG tire banner on your front windshield and all that.
Actually, I'm gonna paint mine like the old Nissan race trucks.
You got
Red,
paint,
white,
and
blue.
you definitely got money for paint in
I
your
got
budget.
I got money for paint.
Yeah,
I definitely got money for paint.
Just do some vinyl striping down the side.
Could do that.
the stick
Right.
on stripes.
I think I want the what is it?
Jim Connors, red, white,
the
and blue.
Pathfinder, the Desert Runner.
The Desert Runner. Yeah.
I should have picked the Desert Runner.
That was the 4-wheel drive. That was like in the 88, wasn't it?
4-wheel drive hard body Desert Runner.
So now you're back in my era where you get nothing. You just get.
And then they
truck.
bring the Desert Runner back as a 2-wheel drive
Yeah.
to try to compete with Toyota Pre-Runner.
Makes no sense.
Wait a second. What was that term you came up with for he took a 2-wheel drive and made it a 4-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive?
2-runner.
2-runner. Yeah. Was it a 2-runner or a 4-runner?
That was a Pre-Runner. Yeah, I mean, shouldn't they Toyota do that? Like, it's a 2-runner, dude. Like, it's not a 4-runner.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just coined the phrase.
2-runner. I had an 09 2-runner with a V8.
Well, any other
come on
details that
back.
we need to cover?
Well, I think things could get interesting when we actually start building one of these
Yeah.
and picking our gear that we're going to take with us. We're
Yep.
going to have to take gas.
You know, I
We're
haven't
gonna need a
worked on
spare.
many Borregos, but you know what I'm really curious to see is how much stuff I find that interchanges with other models.
Yeah.
I want to see where you're going to carry that 35-inch tall tire. That's what I want to see.
Because you know when I started
Where are you going to
when
carry
I started
your 35?
dissecting the H3, they use like Toyota hubs, 6 on 5.5, same bore size as Toyota. Like there was a lot of like.
Could we pick an H3? Do we got money for that?
I don't
Is
know.
that
I think
too
they're still
expensive?
pretty expensive.
Is that too expensive?
You want it? Why would you? Bill Black, no offense, but why would you want an H3?
Yeah,
Because
you'd be
they're-
fixing
they're
that
pretty
quite a bit.
cool.
Yeah.
They have lockers. They had
5-cylinder.
35.
5-cylinder. That thing overheats in the winter.
They had 35s. They had lockers. Some of them had V8s.
Yeah, the Alpha had a V8, 5.3 liter V8.
So can I buy like an inline 5-cylinder for 10 grand?
Why? You're never gonna make it. This things overheat. They're terrible. That motor is terrible.
Well, as we wrap things up today, we want to encourage everybody who's following us or watching these episodes or listening to these episodes to comment so that we can try and get funding for this project at some point, or at least permission to do it. Right now, we're completely out in the wind.
Or if we have, an affluent guy
a donor
out there that wants to,
someone want to donate a Kia Borrego, let us know.
Why is everybody convinced that it's going to be the Kia Borrego?
And that's what I was just going to say.
If you're financially stable and you want to comment and donate,
yes.
Hey.
And
we need a go. So should we do a GoFundMe and link in bio?
Your comments and votes matter, so we definitely want to know what you guys think about which vehicle we should build if we get the opportunity, and let us know about what we're thinking about the builds, things that you might do.
What about another vehicle? What if enough people vote and they want some other vehicle?
Something else?
Or comment on your vehicle.
Yeah, we might entertain that as well. Like if you think of something that fits the rules that we have right now that you think might be a better build, please let us know, because we're going to leave it open to have a backup vehicle at some point. I'm guessing it's going to be the Astro van, but we'll leave it open.
The Astro van would be really cool.
Yeah.
Just take out the 700 R4 and put it like a turbo 350 granny.
It'll bolt right in.
Shouldn't be too much of it.
Yep.
All right.
Well, thank you all for tuning in today, and we're looking forward to seeing you again on our next episode of Shock Talk.